Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, here with a special guest, special co-host, Sean Campbell of
CS Design Studios.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Huh?
Yes,
I
you do.
practiced a little bit today.
And for everybody that's out there, make sure you're dropping in on the YouTube channel so you can check out the Tasty Bites in video. And that is the Tasty Show 520. If you can't get to YouTube, that's okay. We're also on Facebook at the Tucson Tasty Show. Check it out. And don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, and repeat. We also have the chat open, so we'll be able to see everybody out there giving us, or if you have questions, drop it in the chat. If not, give us a call at 520-790-2031. That's 520-790-2040. And I mixed up some numbers there. It's 790-2040. And call into the station and feel free to give us a call for those questions. And if you have a question for me, if you have a question for Sean, if you have a question for Marcella from the little one, which I'm so excited about.
Yeah, you and I both, Wesley. Oh my God.
She's just such an amazing person, and we're so lucky to be able to have her here in studio. And we'll also have Greg and Leslie from Laramida Sellers, which is exciting. They have some exciting news for us as well. All right.
Yeah, you threw me into the fire, Wesley. I mean, you got like an A-list of like stars coming on, and yesterday, you go, Sean, you want to come on? I'm not sure.
Like the last minute while we were
and you got
hanging
the
out.
who's who of Tucson. Wow.
Yeah, we have a few people, but that's the Tucson Tasty Show. That's just what you should. Everybody should expect. That's why everybody tunes in
every week, one after the other. Your show has been phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
No, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it.
Man.
All right, so tell us a little bit about what you do with
CS Design Studios. Yes. I'm the CMO. That's the Chief Marketing Officer. I assist in helping our clients put together digital marketing programs that will best help them reach their goals online, which more times than not is an ROI, obviously. But we also help with brand awareness, right?
Right.
Traffic to the website, more phone calls, all the good things to help partner with our clients to help them grow.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys have quite a few. You have quite the portfolio of clients.
We're so blessed, Wesley. Yeah, I mean, we have an array of clients. Not just here locally, but throughout the state, a few out of state, and it keeps us on our toes. Everybody has their own personalities and their own goals. My forte is in social media, and the biggest obstacle is really getting to learn my clients, their brand, their voice. Because we need to be in their voice with their intentions and not ours, right? So I love what I do. It's a challenge each and every day. It really is.
Well, thank you. All right, that's incredible. So one of the things that keeps coming up that I keep getting exposed to, and somebody that's really bad at social media, and I know you say otherwise, but I'm really terrible.
You're strong. You got a strong game going, Wesley.
I
don't change nothing. You do very well. Very well.
What is SEO? Because it keeps coming up with all the groups that I'm involved in.
SEO is how well you could be found online through like a search engine search, right? If I'm searching for, automotive repair near me, how likely is your automotive shop going to likely pop up on that first page? Because, we don't want to go to the second page to find the next automotive shop, right? I could talk for an hour on SEO, but that's basically the gist of it.
Right. Is
basically how optimized your website and your presence is online. Okay. So when people go to search for you, you're easily found.
So if you looked at your business as a ping pong ball, and your Google is the fishing rod, and you're throwing that hook out, it's not going to hook very well.
Right.
You might be.
Yeah. You might want to be more of a cheese ball. Right.
Okay. Cheese ball. I like it. I was going to say tennis ball.
But this is a food show. It's got to be cheese ball.
I like cheese ball. Meatball.
A meatball.
Mike Elefante will appreciate that.
Yeah.
He makes some good meatballs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he made some hush puppies. I don't know if you ever got to try any of his hush puppies,
Not.
but he put this. What was it? It was a corn. It was a street corn hush puppy.
Oof. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah, it was elote hush puppy, and so you get this doughy,
Oh man,
light, fluffy. Yeah,
you're killing
we'll get
me,
to
Wes.
the
I'm
food.
hungry as it is, waiting for Marcella and the little one to come on.
Fair enough.
Man,
So, what would be something that a business out there that is looking for
yeah.
a design studio, somebody that's looking for your services? One, how would they find you? Two, what brings a business to, other than, hey, I want more clients?
Yeah, I'm so happy you asked that question because I was thinking about this today, right? And if someone wants to get a hold of me, just text me 520-339-0259. We'll go out to a local coffee shop and just talk marketing. We'll geek out on marketing. But here in Tucson, this is something you and Tina both do phenomenally well. Your job as business owners or entrepreneurs is to be 1 degree away from everybody in town. First and foremost, forget your digital marketing. Go out, network, shake hands, kiss babies. Arizona Sands Club, that's where you and I met, right?
Yes.
There's nothing but influencers and people that can make decisions there. It's a lot better than hanging out at Applebee's, right? So your first job as a entrepreneur, small business owner in town is to learn how to put yourself so you're 1 degree away from everybody else in town. That's mission number one.
Yes.
Then give me a text. Let's set up a coffee and we'll talk about your digital marketing. But that's the best advice I give anybody in Tucson out there. Yeah, network.
Yeah.
Yeah, network.
That was actually something that I learned in the Air Force, and I really didn't implement until recently when we were talking about doing the show, because it was nothing that can I go talk to people? Yes. Do I want to go talk to people? Not necessarily, but in this business and talking about radio and marketing and everything else, I want to be in front of people all the time.
Yeah.
And I sat down with somebody at one of the events I was at last week, which I went to so many events last week. Like today,
you're doing your job, right?
I slept in till 9 o'clock,
Wow.
and I didn't have to go anywhere. And then I remembered that I had a breakfast that I was supposed to be at 9 o'clock, and that was a whole nother story. But sorry, everybody. Yeah, I'm sure they're listening right now. But I sat down at this luncheon, and somebody that's at cattle corner for me, she says, "This is the third time I've seen you this week.
Wow,
maybe I should introduce myself."
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah. And admittedly for me, it's easy. I'm an Air Force brat. I grew up around everybody from every nationality. Everything you could think of, right? So I'm very comfortable being around people that are not like me. I love being in a group of people, in a room of people that I have nothing in common with. That makes me, very interested in getting to know who they are or whatever. And I'm not bashful, just introduce myself, starting up a conversation, So admittedly, that is hard for some people today, and I get it, but you just got to get out of that shell and just got to learn how to do it, So, yeah.
Understand. I understand that, because with the social media, the reason I'm terrible at it is because I'm better at getting out in front of
you guys are good at it because you're consistent. You always put the good little trips and the clips and the trailers on there. I always see you, so that's good. Just stay consistent. Your show's phenomenal. You have tremendous content. You guys, I'm very blessed to be on here with you. You got rising, budding superstars. So,
well, look for us on TV soon. And I'm not going to bust that bubble yet. But
could I be in the audience? Woo!
Absolutely. It's actually going to be a requirement. We're going to have an audience. So it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be some, I'm not going to give away anything. Yeah. It's going to be incredible. Cool. But that is a project that we're working on in the next 3 months. Yeah. So we're going to have the radio show and the TV show. Yeah. Because this is so much more fun, and looking down the barrel of a TV show is terrifying. I mean, just looking at all the moving wheels.
You're so in your element right here, Wesley. I mean, and putting a camera in front of you. I mean, what's the difference between the cameras we have here? Nothing. You're going to kill it. You're going to kill it.
These are stationary, though, and I'm going to have somebody on the other side of those cameras chasing me down, which is very counterintuitive for me.
A glass of wine, maybe a local beer. You'll be fine.
Fair enough.
Be fine.
Got to go over to Black Rock Brewers and have a good Scotch. ale from my buddy over there.
Aren't we blessed in Tucson to have so many phenomenal local breweries?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I mean, oh my God, yeah. Whatever you want.
So one more time, how can people get a hold of you, and when would be the best time to get a hold of you? Is this something that somebody would want to do when they're looking at opening a business, or right when...
At any stage of your development in your business? You know, I love working with solopreneurs. So, you know, don't, you know, be bashful about reaching out to me. 520-339-0259. Text me anytime. I'm always working. I love to work. Just give me a text, pick out your local coffee shop that we want to go have a cup of coffee.
Preston's delicious.
Yeah.
Just as a recommendation.
Yeah.
Yellow Brick is another one that's
phenomenal.
really good.
Crave's another one. Oh, jeez. Yeah. But
Well,
yeah, I mean, let's just nerd out, talk some marketing, and I'm very, very transparent. You know, I've sat down with the two of you.
Yes.
So I get a testimonial, right? I'm very transparent.
Yes, you are, and honest, and you're very fair.
absolutely.
So that was actually the reason that I was very comfortable asking you to come on the show with me.
Oh, I was so excited yesterday. I didn't want to like get too excited because I was like, is he really talking to me or the dude behind me?
Fair. Well, we're going to go into our first break here, but before we do, I've got to say some thank yous to our amazing sponsors, and that is Kiki. I'm Wesley Source, host of the Tucson Tasty Show. We'll be right back after this break with more from Maricela from The Little One. Special thank you to our sponsors, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Vera Earl Premium Beef, Dirty Cactus Soap, Novus Vita, and Mafia Kitchen. Stay tasty, Tucson. This is the Tucson Tasty Show, and I'm your host, Wesley Source, here with Sean Campbell of CS Design Studios. How you doing, Sean?
Phenomenal.
That was a great break.
It was pretty good, huh?
It was.
Yeah.
And now you're in a different spot, but we have the wonderful and incredible Marcella of The Little One with us.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited you're here too. I couldn't believe. Now, I was talking to Sean a little bit about this, and you really do encompass the traditional Tucsonan, and I appreciate that, because when I walked into your restaurant, and you could always tell with the servers. I don't know if you could probably attest to that.
Marcella is, I'm not just saying this, but she's my most favorite person in the world. She treats everybody, she treats everybody that walks into a restaurant like family.
Yes.
And I'm not just, again, no one's paying me to say this, but when you asked me to come on the show yesterday, and oh, by the way, The Little One, I'm like, Marcella? And I'm like, what? I mean, how blessed am I to be sitting right here with Marcel and yourself, Wesley? Just
thank you.
Phenomenal. I'm so excited right now. So excited.
Well, I'm super excited and happy to be here.
So I walk in the door, and I'm greeted, first of all, warm greeting, and then what do you guys like on because I always ask the same question, and it's, what do you like to eat here? Because I want to know what the servers say first, right? And they said everything, and then I was like, all right. So then they start walking me through the menu. Not only is everything fresh, it's written in chalk, right? And you have a daily special that you just walk in and you say, give me the special, and you get a plate of whatever you have available for that person, which is another testament to everybody trusts you to feed them amazing food constantly. But there was nothing that I did not like on that plate.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's one of the things we're known for, is getting a surprise plate. And that warms my heart, that people trust us enough, like you said, that they're just saying, okay, just feed me. And that's exactly what we do. We give them a surprise plate. It's a mixture of things from the kitchen. The kitchen creates your plate for you. And then we bring it out. You get to pick your sides, but really everything coming from the kitchen is up to them.
Yes, and it's also tasty. So I was really surprised by the Mexican rice that you have. One, the Mexican rice, Spanish rice, whatever you want to call it. One, because it wasn't orange or red, right? It wasn't tinged at all, and that's because you don't use tomato paste. And I found out that you use all fresh ingredients. But two, when I tasted it, this was like risotto. I mean, it was this tender piece of rice that's fluffy and creamy at the same time, and then all these just an explosion of flavors, all in this rice. I don't like rice. My wife is right next to you. She'll tell you I don't like rice. I loved
He cleaned his
your
plate.
Rice. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But why? How did you start the little one? Why did you start the little one?
So I did not start the little one. The little one started in 1985. It was originally Café Poca Cosa. That is the original Café Poca Cosa, started by my sister Susana and my dad. And she was only there in that location. It was what was then a teeny tiny little building next to what was then the federal courthouse. It's now I
Public
think,
library.
No, that's where we are now.
Yeah, oh, no,
so
okay.
this is way, way, way back. So we go way back to 1985. We were next to what was then the federal courthouse. My sister was only there 3 years. Then she moved to what was then the Santa Rita Hotel, which is now the electric company. Again, we've been downtown for 40 years, so a lot of changes. And then about 16 years ago, no, maybe more than that, maybe 20 or so years ago, we moved to where we are now, which is right next to the library. And then the big one moved as well. So a lot of moving around. Both of my sisters retired during COVID, and I am the last Davila sister standing.
Well, I'm glad that there's still somebody doing that, because Tucson would be far poorer for it. So I hope you're training somebody as well.
Oh, that's very sweet. I have some really lovely, competent women working in the kitchen, all moms and grandmas who love to cook. And I think that's part of what you feel when you walk into. It's just a bunch of happy women who love to feed people.
Yes. It was like, that's exactly right. Are you hungry? No, I'll make you a plate. I mean, that's, other than flavor, why do you guys use so many fresh ingredients?
Because we love to cook. So if you actually love to cook, it's a difference of going to the grocery stores on the south side to going to Albertsons or Safeways, for example. Their produce looks beautiful, but it's waxed, it's beautiful, it's perfectly placed. You go to the south side, they're constantly bringing in cases of produce. And so you're able to pick beautiful, fresh produce. It's less expensive to cook that way. The food tastes better to cook that way. And then food is always revolving. So what we make one day that we chop all the fruits and vegetables to put in salads, well, the very next day, all of that same fruits and vegetables become juices, which I brought some juices for you to try today. So it becomes our juices, it becomes our soups, it becomes our sauces. That's just the way that fresh food works. So when you open a lot of cans or jars or powders or envelopes, it's not the same.
No, absolutely, I agree. And we actually did, Cody Peck and I of Network Outdoors did chili. For a chili competition. It was a chili cook-off, and we chopped up all the tomatoes, and I was like, this is the way we're going to do it. And we chopped up all the tomatoes. We actually used a griddle to cook them down, because you have to cook them down. So they're essentially stewed on the griddle, and then we chopped all the fresh peppers, and then we browned everything, or all the meats, and then we put it in a pressure cooker and cooked it. And we did win People's Choice Award, but that was because of the flavor. And hands down, we had some amazing flavor. I almost lost to the person next to me, but he didn't. They didn't classify him as a chili because it was a pozole. It was a chicken pozole with jicama. And it was really delicious.
With jicama? Oh, I've never had pozole with jicama. Okay, that's interesting.
And it was a dried jicama, so it had still a little bit of that crunch, even though it was in the soup. And it was really good, but it wasn't a chili. So that was the only reason we didn't lose everything to him. And and then we didn't win the judges panel because they said, what is a traditional chili? And they actually defined it out. Now, they should have done that before, so I knew what they were looking for.
That would have been helpful, huh?
Somehow we didn't hit those notes quite, but it was a close tie. So, but it was an amazing time at the Arizona Sands Club. I don't know if you've been or not, but it was a great evening, and the only reason we won was because of all the fresh ingredients we used. And so hands down, it's a loaded question when I ask that, but hands down, yes, fresh ingredients are the only way to do it. But then you're also getting our local ingredients as well. So you get the true flavors that you're going to find, and you can find around Tucson. So tell us about, well,
I actually got a question.
Go ahead.
Because when you walk in, you also have some arts and crafts there, right?
There we go.
So tell us about that.
So we never used to have that, but when when COVID started, we had never done to-go either. And so we had to start doing to-go. People were just milling around waiting for their to-go items. And my sister goes back and forth to Mexico. So we brought in some really lovely arts and crafts from Mexico, baskets and embroidery work. I love African arts as well. So we have, when the Gem and Mineral Show comes, we go to the African village and bring in a bunch of the jewelry and the baskets, the aprons, even some spices and things that they have, just really beautiful. And so we have a little bit of a mercadito when you walk in. We also sell the tortillas, and we have fresh pastries. And so it gives people a chance to, especially downtown right now that there's not a lot, if you find out there's a gift that you need to buy, or you don't feel like cooking and you want to just stop by and grab stuff and then head home, it makes it a little bit easier for the community too, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
And it was really cool, some of those arts and crafts, actually, when I went in there. And I did get some videos and stuff, and I think they made it into the final cut. But I don't. Yes, they did. If not, they will be up by the end of the day.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay.
We have, when I started doing the show, I had maybe 500 pictures on my phone. I have over 12,000 now.
Oh my gosh.
And we've been doing it for 7 months. So I think I've got to start going in and cycling some of those out. But it's really awesome to be able to say that we're getting all of that content to highlight the local restaurants and chefs and everybody else that we are privileged to be able to interact with.
Oh, that's very sweet. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
So, why downtown?
Well, like I said, I didn't.
This to everybody.
Yeah, I didn't start it. So my sister and my dad started it there. I have had the opportunity, as my sisters did as well, to move out of downtown. But downtown has been really good to us, and it's challenging. Downtown definitely has its challenges, but it's just a beautiful community. I mean, we've been feeding some of the same people since 1985, and we've never done a lot of to-go business, again, except for when COVID started. But we used to sell Tupperware and glassware that people would purchase, and because we used to be a completely green restaurant, that's very difficult when you do a lot of to-go. And so we have people who come in and they have that same recyclable bag, that same Tupperware that they purchased, back in the 80s or the 90s, the same glass mason jar, which I brought for you guys today to try some juices. And they come in with their same little pack, to get food to go, which is just, that kind of is mind-boggling, that more people don't do that we don't think of that. But yeah, so we just service the community. We've been there, and I have no intention of ever leaving downtown.
I love it. Now, we have a few seconds left before we have to wrap up for a break. But one question, horchata. Now, when I got your horchata, I had one question for you. And does it have sweetened condensed milk in it? And you said
it shouldn't. It's not supposed to. Yeah. So horchata is just rice, cinnamon, vanilla, sugar. So we use molasses as well, which is why it's darker, but it's not supposed to have any kind of dairy in it.
Thank you for that, because that is a point of argument, a point of argument sometimes in the family.
Yeah.
Now, I'm Wesley Source, host of the Tucson Tasty Show. We'll be right back. Again, special thank you to our sponsors, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Ferrero Premium Beef, Dirty Cactus Soap, Novus Vita, and Mafia Kitchen. Stay tasty, Tucson.
Yummy, 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 I got love in
This is the Tucson Tasty Show, and I'm your host, Wesley Source, here with Sean Campbell of CS Design Studios. How you doing?
Phenomenal.
That was a great break.
Phenomenal.
We had a lot of great discussion, and we're going to bring some of that on the radio, so we're looking forward to that. But we're going to go into my favorite segment of the show, and that's Tasty Bites. And this is Tasty Bites with Marcella of The Little One.
Yeah. And so I brought you some yummy things today, if I could.
Absolutely.
So I brought you guys some chips and salsa.
Yes.
And I wanted everybody to have their own.
Okay.
So I have
Oh.
some chips and salsa.
So, do you make the chips?
We
in-house?
don't. So the only thing that we don't make in-house are chips
Thank you.
and tortillas. because that's very challenging to make. And then I also brought, so with the chips and salsa, I brought, which I think you're going to be excited about, is the chipotle pork. And that is one of our biggest sellers. Let's see here. Oh
my gosh.
Oh, I'm going to let you open that. Maybe you can open that thermos better than I can. I'm making it look harder than it should be. And then I also brought some different drinks. So I'll tell you, one of the things that we do every day, we make fresh juices. And so what I brought, and you guys can tell me which one you want to try. Did you get it open?
No, I want to see if Tina can do it.
Oh wow! And I was
Otherwise, I'll get there.
I was so worried. I wanted it to be nice and warm, and so I sealed that tight. Oh,
Let's talk about the salsa. So,
Yeah.
do you use canned tomatoes at all?
So our salsa is a mixture of canned and fresh. I'm going to be really upset if we can't open the pork.
I'm going to get it open here. It started to move.
Okay, it started to
I
move.
specialize in this.
Okay. So we use a mixture. Most salsas are either completely cooked or they're completely fresh. So it's a salsa fresca or it's a salsa cocida or a pico de gallo, which is a fresh salsita. We do a mixture. So I honor my father's original recipe, which is diced tomatoes, and those are canned diced tomatoes. But then to that, we add chopped peppers, cilantro, onions. All of that is fresh. We make a sauce with chile güero, chile serrano, which we cook. So we boil that down, and then we blend all of that and make like a green salsa. And then, let me grab that real quick. And then from that green salsa, we mix that with the tomatoes. And so you have a mixture of the salsa, which is why our salsa is a little different from most.
It's so
And
good. It's
let
got
me do
the
this.
perfect little bite to it.
Yes,
right?
the acid.
I love hot salsa.
Fun.
So
So grab
this is
some of
phenomenal.
that.
No.
Let me give you one of these. And I figured you could dip your little chip in that. The chipotle pork is one of our top sellers, and it's a slow roasted cube pork in a creamy chipotle sauce. Super yummy. And you can come in the morning. You can get that in an omelet if you want. You can throw it in a quesadilla. And then I'm most excited about this, actually. So every day we make fresh juices. And I brought them for you in some mason jars. This one is a garden lemonade, and it has cucumber, lime, basil, and mint. This one is a tropical lemonade. It has strawberry, raspberry, orange, mango, and pineapple. This is a hibiscus tea. That's Jamaica flowers. So it's a sweetened hibiscus tea. And then this is my favorite, and this is a coffee chata. And this is a half iced coffee, half horchata with cinnamon and vanilla. So,
Wesley, you hate coffee, right? So I'm going to take all of that, right?
oh, so who wants,
Give me coffee or give me death.
do you want to try the coffee chata one?
my God.
Well, we have some cups here
No,
that
okay.
That everybody
Laramida
can try. I brought
sellers,
everybody their own, so I thought they could try. Which one do you want, my dear?
Okay.
I have,
I
let's
could
give you
split
the
some of this
garden.
with you, I think is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
then
God.
there's that one. That's the
So
tropical.
one of the things that this is the coffee horchata, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and I tried this when I came over to the restaurant, and it was without you. Yes, sorry, producer Tina. And it was gone, and I wanted more, and I was kind of shaking the glass, and I was like, oh,
one
so
thing
I should have gotten more.
One thing, Wesley, I noticed when Tina's upset with you, she doesn't call you Wes or Wesley. She calls you husband. So I'm waiting for that to come out. Husband?
Interesting. I hadn't even thought about it.
No, I saw that yesterday. I mean, I may or may not have saw that yesterday.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
So we make the juices fresh every single day. We make different juices depending on what the fruit is. So that we don't open any cans or envelopes or anything for. It's just all fresh juice and fresh fruit, water, sugar.
Oh my gosh. See, what we need to do is we need to bring in Laramida wine cellar.
I was just going to say that would make a great sangria.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Because I just smelled that and I was like, ooh.
And the
a
nice
little bit of white
things,
wine.
the nice thing about the juices, again, they're fresh. So anything in the restaurant, since we make it, if you have allergies or sensitivities, we can tell you exactly what's in everything.
Right.
But those you can use. They're very popular. People will come in and buy them by the gallon if they have an event, because you can use that at a bar too. If you have a nice party and you want to have some cocktails, you can throw those at the bar, and then they can create a signature cocktail for you.
So, this would be a really amazing base for a margarita. Just saying, and I don't know that you'd really need to put anything other than tequila. And we actually have some amazing tequila distillers in Tucson. So maybe we
neat.
can.
Maybe I'll come back
yeah.
and we'll do a different kind of a show.
Yes. Not until the end, though. So tell us a little bit more about this pork, as because I want to try it, but I want to hear a little bit more about it.
So the pork, it is a slow roasted pork. We simmer it with onions, peppers. It has chipotle is a roasted jalapeno pepper, and then we make a cream out of that. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that it's just mixed with sour cream. We don't use sour cream, but it is a Mexican cream, which is not quite a sour cream and not quite like a plain yogurt. So it has a very specific flavor to it, which I think really makes the pork
Is it almost
pop.
like a creme fraiche?
No, it's a little bit more of a tart taste to it. But I mean, you can eat that just on the side of your plate, that cream, almost more like a plain yogurt.
Oh my gosh. It's incredible. And I'm notorious for not liking pork. I love this. And everybody keeps bringing me pork, which I think is just funny. But
It's the layers of flavor in
It's
everything.
absolutely-
The salsa, the pork. I mean, everything is just so multi-dimensional, and it's so like a perfect blend of everything.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We love it. That's one of our favorites. And again, you can come in. So the plate that we're most known for is the plato, which is it's a surprise plate. So you have no
Right.
idea what you're getting.
And what's the reason? How did you originally come up with that?
So my sister
natural. Thank you.
Susana, my sister Susana originally came up with that, and it's if you actually cook in your kitchen. Susana never had a set menu. She would make a chalkboard menu every day. So if you think of the example, when you go to your mom's house to eat, if she's a big cook and you bring 5 friends with you, your mom is going to turn one thing into food for 5 to 10 people because she has the ability to be more creative. So the surprise plate allows us, that's just chipotle pork. But if you order the surprise plate, I can give that to you in a taco. I can give that to you in a quesadilla. I can, stuff a pepper with it. So it gives me more flexibility to use that same one entree in a lot of different ways. And so that's how the surprise plate was born. And originally, the little restaurant originally was teeny tiny. So there was no big, massive refrigerator. There was no freezer. There was no walk-in. And so it's just what we can do with food, for 1 to 2 days. And so everything has to be fresh, and that gives us more flexibility.
And
Absolutely.
still today, the little one does not have a freezer walk-in.
No, we don't have a freezer, and we
Amazing.
don't have a walk-in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I live going shopping.
Is there any other, Wesley, do you know, or Marcella, do you know any other restaurants that have that concept? Or have you ever seen that before?
There are quite a few, but none that execute it the way that they execute it to the fullest extent. Because a lot of the time, you get some that really want to have that, but can't really have the follow through for it. I know when we had, I think the first 5 chefs we had on the show, we asked them, "What's your philosophy with food?" And I think you've communicated your philosophy with food very expertly. And but all of them said the same thing: local, fresh ingredients. And then And then you go into their kitchens, and they do their absolute best to get the local fresh ingredients. But like she was saying, they have no idea what's going to be ordered, what's going to be.
Right.
So they have to have that rotation and the ability.
Yeah.
So the way that the little one executes it, hands down, is incredible.
Thank you.
And I don't see that around town.
You know, the execution of that, how phenomenal the food is, and how welcoming. It's like, you walk in and you feel like you're at home. You feel like you're just
absolutely.
You know,
like I said,
I usually sit at more the communal table.
Yep.
So I'm sitting with people I've never met before. We're having the best food in Tucson.
Yep.
And it's like, where else could you get this?
Oh,
you
that's
know?
very,
So
very
it's just
kind. And that's the best
very-
compliment that you could give us, because that's exactly what we want to do. Not everybody has a good home that they come from, but there is that image of, what does it feel like to sit at the kitchen table and have mom cooking for you and have, aunts and uncles and family and members coming in and out?
You can see all the food being cooked right there. You know,
Yes.
I mean, it's
we have an all-open kitchen, so you're seeing everything. We can't hide anything from you.
It's such a beautiful, unique experience.
Thank you so much for coming in, and I can't wait to have you back, because there's so much more to explore with your restaurant, and everything you brought in for us was incredible. Don't forget to go check out the little one. It's downtown. It's right by the public library. I'm Wesley Source, your host for the Tucson Tasty Show. When we come back, we'll have Laramida Cellars. And we're going to have Greg, who is the founder of Laramida Cellars, as well as Leslie. And special thank you to our sponsors, Kiki Rogers of Country Financial Insurance, Viral Premium Beef, Dirty Cactus Soap, Novus Vita, and Mafia Kitchen. Stay tasty, Tucson. Welcome back to the Tucson Tasty Show. I'm your host, Wesley Source, and now I have an amazingly full studio, and I didn't feel like Marcella needed to leave because of all the amazing food, and we're bringing in Laramida Cellars, Greg. Great to have you in the studio today.
It's great to be back. Thanks for inviting me back.
Of course. And we have Leslie.
Cheers.
Who's
it's good to be back.
A drop-in co-host now, or guest co-host now. And we still have Sean Campbell over in the corner.
I'm in the corner,
And-
out of sight.
And
You weren't that bad. Why are you in timeout?
I was
He's not.
horrible. I said a few curse words last segment. When I taste some Marcella salsa, I was like,
yes.
beep, beep, beep. This is so beeping good.
Yes, it is good. It's incredible. And you should try, I actually kept some of this open so that you guys can try some of the salsa, so we can destroy our palate before we try wine, right? And can she use, she dip in your salsa?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're family now.
I did not double dip, by the way. I did not. So it's good to go.
What do you think of that salsa?
Oh, that's
Great.
fantastic.
Yeah. So you're here because of the wine, right?
Yes, sir.
So
and with your permission, I'd like to talk more broadly today about Arizona wine, what makes Arizona wine special. And in doing so, I'm going to teach you some French words. These are good words.
French words. Okay.
Good, polite French words that'll make you sound intelligent at your next dinner party. Before we get into that, though, here's a brief synopsis. I want to talk to you about the importance of the vineyard location. I want to talk to you about the importance of agricultural practices or viticultural practices. And I want to talk to you about the hand of the winemaker. So,
Just
All right,
one?
Wow.
shall I
Or
talk?
both hands of the winemaker?
Well, they call it generally the hand of the winemaker, the influence of the winemaker.
all right.
So,
Good catch, Wesley.
Yes. Yeah, that was a scary moment for
It
for a
was
second. I'm going to go
almost
ahead
a
and
catastrophe.
close that up. Go ahead.
So let's talk about the vineyard location, the importance of the site, and that's called terroir. Your first French word, Terroir, and there will be a quiz later, so please take notes. And terroir is simply a French word which means what the site has to offer in the creation of food or the beverage. And so terroir, people think about terroir as being the soil, but it's so much more than soil. It's elevation, it's climate, weather, insects and birds that might damage the fruit. It's bacteria and fungi that might be indigenous to the area. It's all of those things and much more. So what's unique about Arizona's terroir? Well, one thing is we have high desert vineyards. I mean, in most of the wine growing world, 1,000 feet elevation will be a very high elevation Our vineyards are 4,500, sometimes even 5,000 feet in elevation. That makes a difference. A lot more UV light at those elevations. Now, the second thing, the significance of the viticultural or sneaking out of the way from me, I see. I'm curious to try that. So the second thing are agricultural decisions made in the vineyard, and this could be row orientation. It could be your nutrition program for your vines. It could be your irrigation schedule. All of these things and much more influence the final product.
Okay.
And finally, the hand of the winemaker. Now, I think we talked before about how my winemaking is a bit of a collaboration between myself and Rob Hamilman of Sandreck and Her Vineyards.
Yes.
Now, Rob is classically trained. He went to college. He did his apprentice work in France. I got into this as a hobby, and without knowing it, as a hobbyist, I was following what most people call a new world style of winemaking, where I was taking the wine off of the lees, the dead yeast cells, as soon as they would settle. Rob, though, follows more of a French style. He's more hands-off. He lets the wine set, ends up producing a more reductive style of wine. I think our wines kind of reflect both.
Yes, we're blessed that your hobby went horribly off track in the best way possible.
Completely out of control. These wines kind of help illustrate a few of these points, and if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and pour a splash for you. The first one is a lovely Viognier from my friend.
It's a lovely Viognier from his friends at Four Tails Vineyards because he leaned away from the mic.
I leaned away from the mic. I did a bad thing. So, Four Tails, Pretty Girl Viognier, and this is actually a previous vintage. I wanted to share this today because I was talking about the influence the winemaker. Now, as soon as I sampled this a year and a half, 2 years ago at a festival, immediately I recognized this had been aged on the lees. This is called Sur-Lie aging, your next French word, actually two words, S-U-R-L-I-E. And what that means, and also, too, before I go on, I want to say that it was obvious to me that they had employed batonnage, your next French word. And Sur-Lie means simply on the lees aging. Batonnage is to stir those lees, and that can accomplish something wonderful with white wines. It's frequently done with Chardonnay. It adds a richness on the palate, a texture that's just great, and I think they really hit the mark with this 2020 Pretty Girls Viognier.
So real quick, for those of you who may or may not know what Greg is talking about when he's talking about on the lees, why don't we ask him to explain?
Well, on the lees could be the gross lees, which are particles from the grapes, but really we're talking about the fine lees, which are the dead yeast cells. And if you allow those dead yeast cells to settle and to decompose, this is called autolysis, or it's to autolyze. You can get some reductive qualities. If you stir them in a process called batonnage, that imparts a bit of richness on the palate, a bit of a texture. So...
No, it's incredible, and one of the things that on the nose, it's a little bit acidic. When I tasted it, I didn't get any of that, which is really really interesting, and that's obviously something that you did on purpose.
Well, again, this is not my... I'm sorry, I keep drifting away from the microphone. Not my wine. I don't have any connection with these wines, but I recognized as I sampled this that they had employed batonnage, that they had been aged on the lees, and I asked them, and they said, yeah, we did a little bit of that. So that softness, that richness on the palate is what they're trying to accomplish, and they certainly succeeded. So Viognier it does great in Arizona, at least lovely aromatic white wines, and with this batonnage and Sur-Lie aging, they really hit the mark with that wine. The next one I want to pour for you is from my friends at Cove Mesa, a Tempranillo.
Tempranillo is one of my favorites.
Now, Tempranillo, people think about Tempranillo as being a warm climate variety, but I think the very best... I'm drifting away again. Okay, self-serve. I think the very best Tempranillos come from places that are a little bit cooler. In Spain, the very best Tempranillos they produce are not from the hottest regions, but in fact slightly cooler regions. And Tempranillo is hard to get right here in Arizona. I think the fact that my friends at Cove Mesa so fantastically succeeded with this wine reflects that these grapes are grown in the proper vineyard, proper location. So you've got that terroir, and I think it's showing the hand of the winemaker as well. I think the wine was very well made, very excellently made.
So I have a question for you. Knowing that this came from the Rumline Vineyards and knowing that Tempranillo is notorious for having a lavender note on the finish, does the proximity to the lavender fields by the vineyard actually bring that out more?
It is entirely possible. I would not think too much. I think really you're getting a true expression of the terroir. There is a bit of a separation generally. Okay, they do have a little bit of lavender within their vineyard, but I don't think we're getting too much of this. I just think that they have the right clone or cultivar of Tempranillo growing in the right location, and they're the grape growing and the winemaking are really hitting the mark on this wine.
Go ahead and try some of the pork that Marcella brought in for us, and then have that with the wine, because it's actually spot on. Do you want some of the white?
An accidental.
He's going in for the bite. It's best thing you've ever eaten. I know.
I warned him.
That absolutely hits the mark.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really good balance with that. And now I need to figure out how I can get like 5 gallons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it looks like we're out of time.
Okay.
And we're down to the minute. Thank you so much for everybody that joined us today and making the Tucson Tasty Show possible. We'll see you next Saturday from 3 to 4 at our new home here on 10:30 a.m. The Voice every Saturday. Look for more from us, and stay tuned. If you want to check us out on Facebook, it's the Tucson Tasty Show. Go to the YouTube channel, the Tasty Show 520, and tune in next week with us to see how we. Well, I'll leave it a surprise. But thank you to our sponsors: Kiki Rogers Country Financial Insurance Bureau, Premium Beef, Dirty Cactus Soap, Novus Vita, Mafia Kitchen. I'm your host, Wesley Source. Stay tasty, Tucson.